Okay, we're back. Now I'm going to put this one here, Section 3, Clause 5. I don't know if there were any questions on that. Let's just go over it briefly and see if we missed any questions. The Senate shall choose their officers. Also, President Pro Temp, which was noted. The Senate shall have the sole power to try impeachment. Chief Justice will be over that. Concurrence of 2/3 of the members present. We talked about that. Are there any questions?
Well, you're talking about, a while ago you said something about the 17th Amendment, about how the 17th Amendment changed the way the senators was elected. Is that not correct?
Okay, yeah.
Did you mention that one?
Yeah, and remember when we get to Section 4, I'm going to point that out.
Okay, so just don't worry about it right now.
No, just remind me, because I don't want to go past it in Section 4. Now we're on Section 3.
Now, on one other question.
Sure.
You said something a while ago about 2/3 of the people present. Now, is that not correct? Can make, say if you had all the senators up there, or 51% of the senators up there, which it has to be, I think, then if all of them go home but 3, and the 2 from Texas, want to move the White House,
Yeah.
could make that decision.
That's because you started out with a quorum, right?
That's right.
Yeah, but see, you never mentioned quorum, though.
Yes, it did.
We
Oh,
will.
yeah, all right.
When we get to the organization of Congress. See?
Okay.
Isn't that right? Now remember, this Constitution is divided. You have the House of Representatives, then we're still talking about the Senate. The next thing we're going to talk about is the organization of Congress, how they're organized. That's kind of question. Next we're going to talk about the legislative process. Then the powers that were given to Congress.
Okay.
And then the restrictions on Congress. And then the restrictions on the states. You see? So this is your longest progress, this lawmaking group. But it's going to come up.
Okay.
It's going to come up on the next one, on Section 4.
Okay.
Let's see what this one says. And we're still talking about the Senate. The judgment, now watch this. This is one I think you
One other thing.
Sure.
On that 17th Amendment, now, I think you just said a while ago that it changed our Republican form of government to democracy. Is that not correct?
That's right.
Now, that's what the 17th Amendment
Remind me. Oh, sure.
Okay.
Sure it did. And when I get to Section 4, bring that up again,
All right.
so I don't forget it.
Okay.
So now let's see what this one says here. Section 3, Clause 7. You see? Now, judgment in the cases of impeachment shall not extend further than to remove from office and disqualification. Remove from office and disqualification to hold and enjoy any office of honor, trust, or profit under the United States. Got that? Now what? But the party convicted shall nevertheless be liable and subject to indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment according to law. Now what did they say? They said now, if this person is impeached, that's not the end. I hear them now in Congress talking about, they've done something wrong, they go up before Congress, they might be impeached. And you can't do that. And then when you go out here and they try to punish them in the state, they say double jeopardy. Huh? You heard that? Double jeopardy. Wait a minute. Now let me tell you something. They don't have no double jeopardy. Because these people are servants, they volunteer to take this job, and why is it not double jeopardy? Because we left room for that in the Constitution. Yeah, you can be thrown out, you can't hold office again, but you can still be punished and indicted according to the law. That's in your state. Everybody up there who you think has done wrong, file charges on them. They're not superhumans. They are servants. But when the president comes to town, boy, and die, we have missed the point. That's why we missed the point. We don't know how to be kings and queens. We don't know anymore. Isn't it sad? I mean, but it started long ago. See, this is the only country. This is the only country where God said man was going to be king and respect each other. And then we can't do it. Because the devil is constantly knocking at your door. You can't walk around with a king attitude. You have a servant's attitude. So as long as you have the servant's attitude, you will always remain a servant. But when he gave you this land, and remember, when this land was given to you, and it was given according to God's teaching, and that man would say it would be the ruler of the earth. He will govern himself according to sin and unseen. That this Constitution is brought out of the Scripture. Numbers, Deuteronomy, Exodus, all of this, right? All of the monarchs across this world hated this new country. And they still do. And you can see why. You've taken this and given it to the people. And now the people don't know how to handle it. But that's not unusual, you know. When we went up on the mountain, when Moses went up, and that's when we went up on the mountain. Went up there to get the tablets, and before he could get back down, they had already built it. You need leaders. You cannot tell me that you are my God's children and can't be ready to stand up to be leaders. I just can't understand it. I can't. I hope maybe you can. But let's just go on just one step further here. We're still talking about the Senate. Now we're on section 4. Watch this closely with me. Did I miss anything here? Let me see if I try to law. I want to get, now remember that word I said. I'm going to tell you something that you never heard before. Remember on that particular, the last one back up with Gene, you'll see up there, some of y'all, where it says according to law. Underline that and remember that we're going to talk about hopefully before we leave tonight. And because this is something that you never heard before, I can assure you. Now let's see what section 4 says. Listen, this is a strange animal here. It says, the time, place, and manner of holding the elections for who? The senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state by the legislature thereof. What? What do we say? Now we're talking about, no, we are going into another section. This is the organization. We're through with the Senate, okay? Now we're talking about the organization of Congress, both houses. This is where we enter now. All we're going to talk about now is the organization of Congress. How we're going to organize it. We just said that senators and representatives shall be prescribed in each state how the time and place and manner of holding the election will be done by the legislature, the state legislatures thereof. But when you hear the word but and except, watch out. Put your ears on. But it's telling you something. It's an exception coming here. Watch it. It says but, if I can find it. Regulation and thereof. But the Congress may at any time, by law, underline that, law make or alter such regulations. This is the election time and all that. They can change that. That's what they're saying. Now, except, look here. This is going to, watch it. Except, let's see if we can read that slowly. They can do all of that, but they can't do this. Except as to the places of choosing senators. Where do we choose senators? Oh, come on here, Gene. Where do we choose these senators? You tell me, say, well, 17th Amendment didn't do anything. Hey, man, we said back here, Gene. You said back here on the section 3. Gene, you said in section 3 that the Senate of the United States shall be composed of 2 senators from each state, chosen by the legislature thereof for 6 years. You said to me in this Constitution that they should be chosen in this state, in Austin, Texas. Now this man here tells me in the Constitution that you can't change it. What the heavens is going on? How can you come here and change the 17th Amendment when you told me here that you can't change it? Help me. We said, the people said, and okayed it and said, you can't change it, but by legislature, they said they can change it. Or they said, the heck with you. I asked the question, and you're not angry? Okay? Did you get it? Question?
Yeah, I have, Doc.
Okay.
Going back to that Article 3 again, it's Section 7 you're just talking about, I think. On this impeachment and that kind of stuff. Now, according to the law, now they're talking about state law.
Where?
Is that
Law, yes.
Yeah. I mean, the state, let's see, let me read it.
Read it to me. Let me hear it.
Article 3, Section 7. You got it up there? No, okay.
What did it say?
Yes,
Judgment?
any party, but, okay, you want to read it all?
Any
Go
part
ahead
you want to
and
read?
read it, you got it right there. then.
I'm looking at it. But the party,
Yeah, okay.
is that what you're talking about?
Well, if the party convicted shall nevertheless be liable to subject to indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment according to law.
That's right.
Now, they're talking about state law.
They're talking about state law, where he lives.
Yeah. Now, let me ask you something.
All right, now wait, now let me ask a question. See that indictment, trial, judgment, and punishment is not something that they do in the legislature. You see?
Yeah.
That's back home. You have to understand that you are the kings and queens. How in the world you gonna let a man run rampant and don't do anything about it? He can come home and you say, oh yeah, he did this. He broke the law. He's been and he's been excused because he's a legislator or something. Then he's your king. You don't need God the Almighty.
You were talking about they hollering double jeopardy a while ago.
Oh, they are hollering. I heard this guy from Washington.
Now, that's my next question.
All right.
Now, I can't remember his name.
Oh yeah.
He was from Washington.
That's him. Same man.
I mean, Packwood, I think.
That's him.
Now,
All right.
now Packwood, they didn't do anything. They didn't impeach him. They just, what did they do to him? Instead of impeaching him.
Just threatening. All I have to do is threaten him.
They kicked him out somewhere else. What
That's
happened?
how he resigned.
Resigned.
They could expel him. See?
So they let him resign instead of letting him go for being impeached.
That's right. Now listen.
Now, let me ask
Go
you
ahead.
something.
Go
If
ahead.
they can do that, you're telling me now that the citizens of Washington, wherever he was from, Oregon, Washington, wherever he was from, could come back and file charges on this man now? The citizens of Washington, where he was from?
I don't say the citizens of Washington, but I said all those women. That's the way he had misconduct.
Well, I'm talking about when he had misconduct, though, it still go back to the citizens of the
Oh, yes,
state.
sir. Yes, sir.
So under the state law, the people of that state could have filed charges against this man for misbehavior. Is that not correct?
Not no misbehavior, whatever the law says. He was harassing.
Or whatever.
Yeah. Harassing females.
Yeah.
Sure they could.
So
But
they
the people
let
don't-
him off without impeachment then to just
They didn't.
let him retire. I mean, let him
These guys are all friends and partners up there.
That's what I wanted
You know,
to say. That's
I
what
don't need to say it like this, but you know, I always felt from somewhere that we have one party. It's called the totalitarian party.
Yeah. Come
But
on.
it has two branches,
Come on.
and you know the name of those.
Yeah.
So those people are friends. Look, buddy, Gene, I think you ought to retire. Because one thing, you're going to lose your retirement. You got a man sitting in prison from Chicago, in prison for 17 months. He still draw $8,000 some dollars every month on his pension. 34 people have been kicked out of Congress. None of them have lost their pension. Come on, you not mad? None of them have lost it. There you are. Don't tell me you talking about party. Oh yeah, they got a party, all right. They're having a party. You know, that's what's happening to them. They're having a party at your expense. Now, let's see. Put our last slide to see. Let's see the second part of that. We got this right. They've done some. We said you can't change it, and you were saying that you did. No. We accepted it. So sometimes you look at this, and sometimes you look at these things, you say, golly, we are a good people. We got so much time to spend instead of these people taking over your whole country, and they got us fighting each other. Oh man, send me to Congress. They got us busy fighting each other while they still in your whole country. And we talking, oh, they can do that because they did the 17th Amendment. Hey man, it says here, you can't do that. That's what it says. Maybe I don't understand, you know. All right, let's see what this says. We're still on what way? Here's the 20th coming. Some of these changes here. Changed by Section 2 of the 20th Amendment. We'll get to that little change. Let's see. The Congress shall assemble at least once in every year, and such meeting shall be on the, that is, that's what's been changed. Unless they by law appoint a different date. Now I see that by law. I want you to keep understanding that. Listen. If they were doing something by law, my dear brothers and sisters, you have to remember this. They don't need a constitutional amendment. All that constitutional amendment business is to fool you. We've already given them permission here by law to do this. That's all. I heard them talking all day. Just before I left home, we're going to have an amendment. We got to balance the budget. You go by these 7 articles, and the budget can be balanced in the morning. They could balance the budget. All it takes, and I hate to get on talking about everything, but all it takes is 218 members. 218 in the House of Representatives and 51 in the Senate. And they told me that the Republicans had a change. They got more than that, and they had that, and then they turn around and talk about an amendment, which takes, well, how many? 2/3. And they don't have that. Now, can you believe that? Every state legislator, keep that budget balanced because 51% of them can vote. But that's a whole other story. All right. Are there any questions?
Hey, Doc, you think it would help if we sent a copy of this tape to Congress?
No, if you send it to Congress, it might help get me shot.
Oh, we'll protect you.
I hope they know, and I'm afraid some of them may not know.
Well, I'm sure they know, they ignore it.
Yeah, I would want to think that the intelligence that they've been talking about, that they possess, that they have, surely they must know. If not, somebody is paying for them to be elected because they can be good followers. One of the two. I can take a man, if I was millions and millions of dollars, and take a person who would just barely walk and tell them what to say. And I put my money behind them. You say, okay, you see, so I'll put them up there. And you got a lot of those people up there like that who really don't understand what's going on. They are just being told. They don't know what's going on, or they don't care. Now we're still on what we call the organization of Congress. Now what else are we going to say for those people to do? They say each house shall be the judge of the election return and qualification of its members. That's understandable. And a majority of each shall constitute, and a majority of each shall constitute a quorum to do business. Each house, the majority of each shall constitute a quorum to do business. Now that's a strange little thing there. If the thing, what the argument that they've been saying is that Congress with 3, this would say that that's wrong. That's just for an argument's sake, you remember? Because over later you're going to say just the one's present. But this one is saying, and we'll talk about the organization of Congress, that the majority of each shall constitute a quorum to do business, and a quorum is what?
51%.
51%. The number, but a smaller number can adjourn. See? So now, what this might be saying, and they can make any member come in order to have that number, or put a penalty on it.
If they don't, they'll be penalized.
Yeah, compel that attendance. But in there, it don't say anything about them making a law, does it? That's very significant. Any questions? Remember that. Now, we're still on that. We're talking about each house now. Each house may determine the rules of its proceedings, punish its members for disorderly behavior, and with the concurrence of 2/3, expel a member. That seems pretty clear. Here we don't see law anywhere in here. Any questions? Okay. Now we're going to still talk, got a little more information on the continuation. Each house shall keep a journal of its proceeding, and from time to time publish the same, excepting such parts of it that may be judged requiring secrecy, and the yeas and nays of the numbers either house or any question shall have the desire of 1/5 of those that be entered into the journal. That's paperwork that you all get from Congress. If you order it, they'll just send it to you. The only thing they send to you that's they don't send you all this information here that's in the journal. The only thing they send to you is tax. Clause 4. Neither house during the session of Congress shall, without the consent of the other, adjourn for more than 3 days. Did we read somewhere, or did we? Somewhere where they said they should meet ever so often. Did I read that somewhere?
In its respective places, right?
You know, meet in December or somewhere, maybe I haven't gotten to it.
No, yeah, you've already been through that. That was,
Okay. Now let's see, if they met,
that was in section 4.
okay. Now, if they say they're supposed to meet one time in December, or they could change that. Now they stay there all the time.
The first Monday in December, unless they shall by law appoint a different date. That's section 4, clause 2.
Okay, a different date, is that what it said? It didn't say a different days. They go up there in January. Look, that means your payment to them would be very small if it's given from December to January of that year. But now they go a whole year, and they're up there just trying to make laws. Why do the kings of this country need so many laws placed on them, and those people stay up there all the year and write them out a check for $100-some thousand? I don't know. That's a question that I have that bothers me. Any question?
Doctor, let's go back to section 5 again, that last paragraph.
Section 5.
Yeah, the last paragraph on section 5. It says, neither house during the session of Congress shall, without the consent of the other, adjourn for more than 3 days, nor to any other place than that in which the two houses shall be sitting.
Okay.
Is that trying to say that they having to work together up there? Having to be together or something?
No, they're just saying the two houses have to be in session together, because usually their work, one house can't do the job without the other.
Okay.
Except the other, one House representative for the revenue.
Okay. All right.
That's why they have to be together.
Okay.
And they're demanding it. That's what the people demanded. Any other question?
One point I'd like to make, Doc.
Okay.
I read somewhere, and I don't remember exactly where it was, where there's something like, I think it's 124 million laws on the books, Congress makes something like 80,000 new laws per year, and we can't even abide by the Ten Commandments? I don't understand that.
That's right. I agree with you. That is right. Every year they make that many laws. And now what happens? I think it's just we the people have not taken time to understand what's happening. I don't understand some of these laws. But these laws, and I'm telling you to remember some of these things where it says the law, the law, the law. We have become confused. Let me tell you. But listen. Show me anywhere in the original Constitution or any of the Federalist Papers or the early debates where the convention said that the Congress can make any laws that would affect individuals. I don't understand it. And then look, we will get out and say, oh, they made this law. They got another one coming up that passed the law saying, I remember about you can't bring a gun to school right here in Texas. It was a Lopez case. And they had a federal judge ruling on it. This guy went up there and he challenged jurisdiction. And the judge, he was right. You cannot, when you talk about jurisdiction, I got a whole bookload and show you what it is. First one, jurisdiction. You know what that thing says? There is a case called CAHA versus United States. And it says, the matters of Congress does not extend into the territorial limits of the states. That's a Supreme Court ruling. There is another one in New York. It was approved by the Supreme Court in 1973. The United States government is a foreign corporation with respect to the states. So, and then you got one called Foley Brothers Incorporated versus Falardo, Supreme Court case. And it says, it is a well-established principle of law that all federal legislation applies only within the territorial jurisdiction of the United States unless a contrary intent appears. So what they're doing, I'm always saying this, we are people, if they can make you, when black can be fraudulently declared to be white, and white can be fraudulently declared to be white, I would like for us to know that not all of us shall live in darkness. So that's where we have to come up. That's where we have to become involved. And understand, and we have to you have to make sure that you talk to other people. If they'll listen. Now that's another thing. They'll listen. They like it this way. Throughout history, they called them, you know what they called them? Radicals. The people who sat down and did the most work on this Constitution and want their freedom were called radicals and patriots. Did you know that? And they were minorities, the minority from the other population. The biggest group of them who wanted things the way they were people who worked for the king. Now, when you said 25% of the people voted for this person, I would tell you that there are over 7 million or more people working for the government. And they can vote. How, if you are working for the government, tell me how in the world you will vote contrary to anything it says. You just take one over the other. But I'm still in place. And my job is secure. And I'm making more than $4.75 an hour. But you will see later as we go on, it was the intention of the founding fathers for those people not to vote. Do you believe it? Oh boy. You see what I'm talking about? Boy, I have to understand, I hope. Let's see, where did I stop now? Let's see. We're still talking about one thing here, I believe. What is that? The two houses. Senators and representatives shall receive a compensation for their services to be ascertained by the law and paid out of the treasury of the United States.
Uh-oh.
That's a good point. Uh-oh. This thing here is not called that anymore, is it? All these things mean something, believe it or not. This is not called what?
Treasury of the United States.
This is the Treasury of the United States. It's called the United States Treasury.
That's what it's called now.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's where the change is, and it's done for a reason. Now, they shall, in all cases, except treason, felony, breach of the peace, be privileged from arrest. See that word privilege on the line there? What does that mean? That means that privilege there is usually different because this one here came in as a small p, because this privilege was given to you by man. The other privileges that are capitalized are given to you by God Almighty. That's just my interpretation. From arrest, during their attendance at the session of their respective houses, and in going to and returning from the same, and for any speech and debate that lead on either house. In other words, they get on the house and talk about you, call you all kind of names. They shall not be questioned any place. That seems hard, but that's it. Now, I know you want to look at this. They shall, in all cases, have treason, felony, and breach of peace. Now, those things are felonies. You know what felonies are? Though anything they do, breach of peace, they can be taken into custody within the state. Those are your penal codes. Now, no senator or representative shall, during the time for which he was elected, be appointed to any civil office under the authority of the United States, which shall have been created, or the emoluments whereof shall have been increased during such time, and no person holding any office under the United States shall be a member of either house during his continuance in office. Are there any questions?
What that mean?
This one here, that means no senator or representative during that time that he was elected, that means that he cannot work for another office within the United States government where it has the control, or take two salaries.
Can't be a justice of peace in that office at the same
No,
time.
he can't be a justice of peace and be a member of Congress, for example. Or he can't work as a sergeant at arms. And watch, that's a good point, because you want to also find that these people can't hold two jobs in the government and work for the government. That's what it's saying. Now, they can't hold two jobs. That's why we're going to see they can't even vote. You can't vote yourself a position.
Now, I don't think if they can't even be, say, on the local level, Doc.
Huh?
Say, they can't on the local level, even be a county commissioner, be on the school board, I don't think. Let's right back up there for a minute while we stop.
All right.
On clause 1. When you said a while ago, let's see, the senators left in shall receive a compensation for their service.
Yes.
All right. Now, a while ago you said that they were only supposed to be in session from December till somebody. So
Well,
they're only about a month there. Is that
Well,
right?
the year ends, in December. That's what I'm saying.
Now, so they're only up there 2 or 3 weeks, or 4 weeks, whatever.
That's what it was intended for.
Okay.
It was no big
Now-
job, no big deal, man.
Yeah.
It's no big
Now,
deal.
That's the reason. See, they really shouldn't be making but about just a few $1,000s
That's right.
for that month, 3 or 4 weeks work.
That's right.
Now, but now they made him stay up there for a year, now they can get the big salary.
That's
Now,
exactly
is
what
that what you meant a while ago?
That's exactly what they're doing.
And
Okay.
they can vote themselves pay increases
Right.
anytime they want to.
That's
Right.
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 And they still pay them work. Everybody does the work for them.
Yeah.
Coffee shop.
Oh, got memo, well, we won't get.
You can
it.
stand, all of us can stand there, I guess.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is. But the truth has to be, I guess, told. Or if anybody have different ideas, maybe I'm in error. But if they can show me that I'm in error, fine.
Right.
I can accept it.
Right.
But I'm just going for what I believe, in my opinion. I don't think we're meant for them to have that kind of money. If anything, if you come from an affluent representative constituency, I think that if your constituents have an average of $100,000 a year, maybe they can say, well, fine, you can have it. But I can't see that a person from Third Ward, Texas, coming out and making $125,000 a year, and then I got to stand up all the year giving you a story about what I'm doing for you. I can't believe it. I have watched Third Ward for 40 years, and it hadn't changed yet. It's been deteriorating ever since. And yet you're going to tell me what you have done? You are not doing anything but raping the treasury. And the thing about it is, they aren't supposed to do anything. And you pay them that kind of money, they aren't supposed to do anything for you. I can show you cases where it says, no, the government is not supposed to do anything for you. Everything that you had before government, you still have if you will demand it. But some of the judges, fellow judges, are getting tired of trying to protect you. A lot of things they're still trying to protect you. I think like Charles said, they're still trying to protect you. But finally, all of them said the heck with you because nobody stands up with them. You know?
Now, when you said that all things we had before, you're talking about out from under the taxes that were under that, such as
Everything that you had before never changed.
before what?
Before the Constitution.
Oh, okay.
Or any other. See, you had your rights, your God-given rights,
Okay.
before any government or state was created.
Yeah, I understand that.
Okay? Are there any other questions? Okay. Oh yeah, now, here's another one here that's good. I don't think there's one here for you. Here's the one here. This one, yeah, I think this one here makes me smile because it tells you something about, I guess, all of us. Here it says, all bills or rates and revenue shall originate in the House of Representatives, but the Senate may propose or concur with amendments as on other bills. It's sad, you know. I never thought I'd get this way where I don't remember. It's something there that reminded me of something, and it's probably going to come up. You know, when you get in this Constitution stuff, it's tough because you can remember things because you put it together. After so long, it comes together and it makes sense. You're not going to read this. I haven't seen by it. I see them on television talking about, oh, the Constitution. What I'm talking about just before I left, we're going to make an amendment. How are you going to make an amendment? Your job is to propose an amendment. Let us decide. We're going to make an amendment. But some of these things, I know I haven't because I'm reading, but now you think of this, what it says, raise revenue. That's in here. That's in the people's house. They're in here making you believe, oh, the president got set up his budget. That you will not find any place in this Constitution where the president is supposed to take up anything in his budget. He can submit it, but they let him make rules about everything. We need a balanced budget. Here's the balanced budget right here. If you represent the people and do your job, everything that comes out has to be paid for. All of these jobs that I'm telling you, that's all this country that's working for this federal government can be cut in the morning by the people's house. Now that's it. You can say anything you want, they can be cut. In the morning, talk about the troops over there can be brought home, cut the revenue. It's as simple as that. But unless we understand, unless we get involved. Now, watch. Okay, question.
Well, on that, clause 1 of that, section 7 there, Dr. Sanders, that goes back to we the people again, is that not correct?
What about it? Right here?
All bills for raising revenue shall be in the House of Representatives.
Yeah, that's our house.
Right.
Suppose that's the
We
people's
the
house.
people. The people.
We the
house.
people, remember. Good. That's the only place that this Constitution says the people have a right to vote. You see? This was the only house. This is hard to get because if we can only vote for the House of Representatives, why are you out here telling us that we got to get the black folks' right to vote with the 15th Amendment? That hadn't even come up. When were they given the right to vote? Freedom! You remember I told you underline that word freedom?
Yeah.
When that happened, that's when they got the right to vote. Now, they didn't come in and tell me we want to vote for the president. That wasn't even allowed. We didn't want to vote for the Senate. That wasn't even allowed. They didn't come up raise the sand about that 2 years after slavery. Somebody's being fooled.
That brings up another, can we go back to Article 1 again?
Sure.
Section 2, I think. Did we talk about how the, now we got to vote for the, no, we don't need it. How the electors are appointed? Did we talk about that?
The electors are appointed
Yeah. To
vote for who?
Well, for
The
the
Senate.
president, whoever.
We haven't got to the president yet, but the Senate. But the Senate.
All right, I
Wait a
thought
minute.
not, okay.
But we read about the Senate, didn't we?
All right, yeah,
You said the legislature.
yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. The legislatures.
So this right here is the first time then we've had the right to vote.
No,
In
not
this
right here.
Constitution then, the people.
No, they, back over here in the first one, you had a right to vote. Free people.
Yeah.
It says right here, very,
But it
Article
didn't
1,
talk
Section
about-
2, 3.
Okay, that is in the president thing, what I'm talking, get ahead of it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, but this
All right, yeah, we ain't got to.
this is the only place you were to vote up until the original Constitution. That's all you're supposed to vote on, is the people in the House. So you can control the purse string.
Yeah, okay.
That's why they gave it to them.
Yeah, so that's the first time we've had the right to vote, is right there, the people. Is that
The
not
people,
correct?
the people only had the right to vote back in Article 1, Section 2.
Free people.
All free people could vote for who?
This right here,
The who?
the legislature, the representative.
That's all. The
Yeah.
representative. That's all they can vote for.
But this is the first, yeah, okay.
Now here, it's telling you now, this is talking about the organization. And during the organization, what we talking about? We talking about the things that they're supposed to do. Each house, what they do.
Yeah.
Every house. Now it says, here, it says now, this is what when you talk about money, and you talk about people's money, the people that they represent are the representatives, and so when you give somebody their money, it has to arise here in the House of Representatives. So don't let them fool you coming back here talking that they can cut everything tomorrow. If the people would say to them every time they come on, I don't want this, I don't want that, and they cut it tomorrow.
So what we was talking about a while ago there, if they said, Texas, we need $5 million, well, if the people didn't think that was a just cause, they wanted to do it to check out the flight of the bumblebees, or, one of them different things.
Yeah.
Then we didn't have to send them the money, is that right?
Well, our representative would have to take care of that.
Okay.
Now, that's a question, I know I've pondered that, but I haven't found anything in the research that says you can't. It says the government can send you a bill. But now the bill would have to be according to your representation. But now, I'm sure that your Congress who's up there, and all of them from every state, because the people are going to get on them. Look, hey, you know, they got to tell them how are you spending this money.
The point I'm trying to make,
Okay.
when they send us a bill, when they send Texas a bill,
Right.
do the representatives then have to come back can they go ahead and make the decision to send the money, or do they have to come to us first?
No, they don't have to come to you.
Okay, that's what I didn't,
No, they don't have
that's what I
to.
didn't understand.
They just send you a bill according to that
Right.
representative. Now, if the states can question what's happening,
Right.
because they're in representative, they only there for 2 years, that's why.
Right.
Because they don't have to do your wish.
That's, yeah, I understand it now.
Okay.
I just couldn't get that straight.
Now, watch this. This one here, what are we going to do here in this one? Now we're going to talk about the legislative process. What is the see, all this talking about the legislative process. What is the legislative process? The making enactment of laws. And this is what they teach in school. Like, you know, this is all you want to hear about the Constitution in school. Child, they may have changed it since I've been there. But this is all how the bills go in your civic class. And they say every bill, now before it becomes law, it must be what? All right.
Now, don't it have to have a sponsor?
Huh?
Does a bill have to, somebody have to sponsor a bill?
Yeah.
Now, where does that, I don't understand it.
Well, I didn't look too good in civic class. But I know somebody sponsored, they got it all written out. It goes here,
Okay, well,
different committees, you know.
I don't think it's mentioned in the contract, I won't get off.
But that's all right, that's a good point.
Yeah, go
But
ahead.
that's what they teach how it's done, and it goes to the floor, and that makes good teaching.
Okay.
But this is what the nitty gritty here.
All right.
Every bill which shall have passed the House of Representatives and the Senate shall, before it becomes a law, be presented to the President of the United States. If he approves it, he shall sign it. But if not, he shall return it with his objection to that House in which it shall have originated, who shall enter the objection at large on their adjournment and proceed to reconsider it. If after such reconsideration 2/3 of that House shall agree to pass the bill, it shall be sent together with the objections to the other House, by which it shall be likewise be reconsidered. And if approved by 2/3 of that House, it shall become law. Article 7, Section 2 continues on the next page. Are there any questions? Okay. Let's see what it says here. There it is. Now, but in all such cases, the votes, see that votes coming in now, we in organization will vote, of both houses shall be determined by yeas and nays, and the names of the persons voting for and against the bill shall be entered into the journal of each house, respectively. If any bill shall not be returned by the president within 10 days, Sunday accepted, after it shall have been presented to him, the same shall be a law. In like manner as if he had signed it, unless the Congress by their adjournment prevent its return, in which case it shall not be a law. Watch that law, watch that law, watch that law, watch that law. One thing here, now watch this. Some people would say that you have what we call here, we have talked about law up here. Now we're going, in this legislative process, we'll talk about something else. That's why they have a different clause, or we would call it modern paragraphs. When you have a different clause, that means we're talking about everything we're talking about in the first clause. We're talking about a bill becoming a law. In the second clause, we got another subject matter we're about to touch. That's where many of us are becoming confused. Now watch this, a different subject matter. Remember that. We've talked about how a bill becomes law. Now we're not talking about no darn law. Watch what we're talking about. Every order, resolution, or vote to which the concurrence of the Senate and the House of Representatives may be necessary except on question of adjournment, shall be presented to the President of the United States, and before the same shall take effect, shall be approved by him, or being disapproved by him, shall be repassed by 2/3 of the Senate and the House according to the rules and limitations prescribed in the case of a bill. What are we saying here? What are we saying? What does that say? Let me see if I can explain to you as best I can. exactly what they are saying here. I'll tell you what they're saying. It seems to me, what they are saying is, watch this, G. We are talking about order, resolution, or vote. Those are different things than law. And it's best to look those definitions up because it really means a lot to you. If you would only look those up and see what in the world those little simple words mean. Resolution is a formal expression of opinion. Huh? That's a resolution. Now, let's see if I can find an order. Now we got order is rule, regulation as the rule and order of a legislative house. We're saying that this is a rule of order of a legislative house. A resolution is a formal expression of opinion. You can have a concurrent resolution, or you can have a joint resolution. Concurrent resolution is when both houses agree on that resolution. Joint resolution when two houses and the president, you see. So what we have been doing when they are voting for resolutions, orders, and this sort of thing that's put in the register, they call, some of them we call rules and established standard, and they say they put them in the Federal Register. Does that mean it becomes law? First of all, we have to look what is a Federal Register. The Federal Register has a listings of the rules to govern management of agencies. And you've taken it and said rules that they passed meant for you. Any question? Amen.
Well, where do the rules come from that do? That what are considered a law for the public?
Yeah.
Are they any?
They make most of these things. You ever heard them when they quote law? They will talk about the Federal Register. And the Federal Register, they are saying those things within the Federal Register belong to you. And all of these things, let's say there's a difference than what's called positive law and non-positive law. And the Federal Register is not positive law. Neither is Title 26.
Internal revenue.
Well, you said that. But they have rules and regulations that, if I can just think of it, can anybody think of a rule that we assume anything that they pass, any of these resolutions that they pass, like we got that one over here, like we had over here, about the resolution that they passed about making you have federal gun. Register all your guns. That's a permit, that's a regulation. But we assume that it's law. And you're going to hear it Monday morning. Some of our groups are going to say, oh, that bill, they're talking about that. But it clearly states at the very bottom that it's only meant for the United States and its territories, whatever. They identify what state means. They say the states must do this, states must do that. And we assume that they're talking about the states, but they're not. So with that, we'll take a break. Okay?